Hey everybody, welcome to another edition of Wednesday here on ChronoSpeakeasy.com and most listening devices. Today is a very special episode because today, after much hype and much talk and much research, we're getting back into our time machines and going back to the year 1990, way before the big superhero boom that's taking place right now. We went back to visit Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I'm Paul, joined with Angela.
Hello.
Jay.
Hello.
And Chandler.
What up?
Real quick, more like Teenage Mutant Ninja Flirtles. Talk about Michelangelo.
Oh. That was sad. The whole thing was sad. Can I,
I enjoyed it.
So I do.
I loved it.
I like my joke. It wasn't that sad.
I got so excited when this movie started because I was like, right in the first 3 minutes, I was like, holy shit, is that a young Sam Rockwell? I was like, oh my god.
Yeah.
So I thought I was doing this deep investigative shit, and no, I'm sorry, it was the first 4 minutes. So I timed it and I was like, there he is at the 4 minute mark. I was like, oh, and there he is again at 4:14, because at first I couldn't tell. I was like, is it really? And then I saw at 4:14 he had the mole, and I was like, holy shit, that's a young Sam Rockwell. And then I found out on IMDb that he is in fact in this movie. And I also found a YouTube video of just all of his scenes, and he's in it a lot more than that. And so I just wasted 10 minutes of my life thinking that I was doing some serious investigative journalism there, being like, I found Sam Rockwell in this movie. Yeah, so that
Down the
was,
rabbit hole.
So yeah, so that was my mini, and then and then I just gave up and just continued watching the movie.
I mean, it's fun. It's a fun adventure. There's a lot of good people.
There's a lot of known actors in this, especially the guy who plays Casey Jones.
Oh yeah, the fact that he's in Look Who's Talking 2, our favorite movie.
Oh yeah, he's the brother.
The shitty
And the greatest game ever played. He was the dad.
What?
The greatest game ever played, that golf movie with Shia LaBeouf.
Yep, he's in there.
I've never heard of that.
A lot of he has, I gotta say, he has had a really nice career considering that he did this movie. Same with Sam Rockwell. They both had amazing careers after this.
Well, Rockwell was super young, so he had a lot to grow with. Yeah, he did. But he's considered a heavy hitter now, He's definitely an A-lister. But Judith Hogue, the chick who played April O'Neil, her next big hit for movie was Halloween Town. Yeah. And then Halloween Town 2.
Yeah, I had a lot of issues with April O'Neil. Not I thought it was just a big casting no-no. She was a mom. It was weird. And why was she watching that kid? At first I thought that was her kid, and then I guess it wasn't. And I was like, well, is that her brother? And it wasn't. It was her boss's kid that she was watching. I was like, what is happening?
Why is he there?
Why is he there? What is going on? So, but I did compile my list of if I could have gone back in time and casted this actress, the perfect actress for April O'Neil, and I had a really good top 3, but I went through actresses that were big at the time
for
April O'Neil. So I mean, you couldn't go with the obvious, because there were some actresses that were just too big for a role like this. They were huge. So I had to look at actresses that you were either going through a lull or were just kind of coming up. And so for top 3, so 3 was Jennifer Jason Leigh. I thought she would have been a great April O'Neil. So if you want to Google her, go for it. She would have been great. She would have been, I think she would have had the look down. I think she would have had the sassy pants, and she wasn't a big name actress at the time. So I thought that she would be good.
Okay, yeah. I can see that kind of.
Yeah, so my second, the runner-up would have been Gina Davis. So she was kind of going through a bit of a lull in her career at this point, but she was she was considerably older for the role, but I think that she was devastatingly hot. And this is right before she had her second like Rush with like Cutthroat Island and all, you know, like and what was it? A Long Kiss Goodnight, you know, and she was doing all that stuff. This was like right before that. So I think she would have been a great April O'Neil. And then my number one pick, it's gonna be kind of a surprise for you guys, but my number one pick would have been Sandra Bullock.
Huh. But she's so brunette.
Yeah, but I think that she would have been a great April O'Neil.
Okay.
I think the woman that they had playing her, it just didn't make any sense.
Yeah, she seems like too young to be a news reporter.
Well, no, because here's the thing. She was only like 23 when this was done, but she looked 40. But granted, I know in the late 80s, everybody looked 40. But, like, she just looked particularly 40. And for these young, like, they're Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. They're teenagers. And they were like, oh, she's so hot. She's so hot. And it's like, no, she's not really. I mean, she's an attractive woman. But, like, for a woman, for them to be drooling over her, no.
I think she's
Sandra
cute
Bullock,
as heck.
1990 Sandra Bullock? Fuck yeah. Fuck
Okay.
yeah.
I thought she was cute as heck.
Yeah, Google 1990 Sandra Bullock. This is before she did Speed, so she still has her like bushy like 80s eyebrows. It was fabulous. She was really fabulous.
Now, there's something I really want to talk about this movie, is its director. So this was directed by Steve Barron, who I love personally because he created one of my favorite made-for-TV movies, which was Merlin with Sam Neill and Helena Bonham Carter, featuring a young Cersei Lannister.
Nice.
But I just want to track this guy's career because I think you'll find this interesting. So before Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, he directed a ton of music videos.
Yep.
Such as Toto's Africa.
Yep.
Huh.
Michael Jackson's Billie Jean.
Dude,
He did that.
Kenny Loggins, Heart to Heart.
She blinded me with science.
Dude.
What?
And Aha's Take on Me.
Yeah.
He's like decorated.
The
Wow.
award-winning Take on Me
Like,
music video.
The Take on Me music video is still like fantastic to watch. So it's amazing you watch his career of like working with like Madonna and Bryan Adams. And then, you know,
Sheena Easton.
I just, yeah. And, you know,
He directed the
Culture
music
Club.
video for Eddie Grant's Electric Avenue. Fuck yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Like some kind of amazing work. And then he did this.
Yep.
Did he go right
Well,
from music videos to this? Oh no, he did a couple TV things first.
Mm-hmm.
Or did a
But it's
TV
just-
thing first and then this.
But it's just amazing. Aha's Take on Me, the Billie Jean music video. I mean, these are iconic moments in our culture in the 80s.
Yeah.
And, you know,
What happened?
and then
Just doing it for the money.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, which, to be fair, you know, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is also a pretty big cultural moment, I think, with, like, you know, just like, because first, this was like an independent comic book to begin with.
Yeah.
And then, you know, and what I like about the Ninja Turtles is that it's sort of supposed to be kind of like a wink and a nod to running parallel to Daredevil.
Yeah.
Because rather than fighting the hand, they're fighting the foot. And, you know, Matt Murdock was trained by Stick. The Turtles are trained by Splinter. And, you know, the idea is that the same ooze that got into Matt Murdock's eyes is what also created the Ninja Turtles.
Yeah.
I never thought of that.
I think the creator himself has acknowledged these parallels and whatnot too, right?
Yeah, it definitely wasn't a
He
coincidence.
wrote his admiration, or he's talked about his admiration for the Daredevil comic series.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, yeah, 1991, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I was 5 years old.
I was born in 91. Wait, what month?
Oh.
I thought this was 90.
Right, sorry, 1990. I'm sorry. Came out in 1990. I was 5 years old when this movie came out, and I remember. I have memories seeing this movie in theaters.
And I didn't see it in theater. I saw it as soon as it came on TV, and I remember hating it then. And so when I watched it again now, I was like, yeah, I still don't like it.
Okay, but here's something that I want to say about the Ninja Turtles. Something that I loved then and I love now. Jim Henson.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, you have to like give kudos where it's due, where they just did such a phenomenal job with the Turtles. I mean, yeah, you watch it now, you know, it's
Still
Splinter
great.
looks incredible.
yeah, I mean, like, and you know what? Honestly, this movie, I'm just gonna say it. I don't care what people think. I'm just gonna go for the throat. I think Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles will age way better than the Michael Bay movies.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Practical effects
I
are always going to
already
like
better.
be better.
Yeah,
Yeah, practical effects win out, hands down.
like it's something that I wish they would go back to, like the practical effects. You
Well,
know?
they're doing it with the Star Wars movies to a certain degree, or at least with
And
the
They did with
first sequel
Interstellar.
that they did.
yeah.
So
Well, I mean,
hopefully they do. It's just more cost efficient to be lazy, I guess.
right. But I feel like if you got Star Wars money,
Yeah, for sure.
you can afford to make some fucking puppets.
I did. So you guys enjoyed this movie as children.
Love it.
And so
Still love
have
it.
a-
I fucking
have a
love this
really-
movie.
I have a serious question for you because maybe you'll be able to answer this because the movie didn't.
Leonardo's my favorite.
So they were training young boys to be fighters and steal TVs. My question is why? What was the end game in that? What was
It was just like a
What do you
psychological
mean steal
tactic.
TVs?
they were stealing like TVs and like VCRs and stuff and like Walkmans.
Because they were starting them out with smaller crimes and then kind of building up to more like crazy shit, like, you know, drugs and murder and being
Yeah.
a
Yeah, I
fucking
just
bug-eyed
interpret it as
ninja.
just like
Well,
organized
yeah.
crime. There's like a mob. That's
but
it.
And he's
seemed-
trying to get them while they're young.
But it seemed pretty disorganized crime. But
Well, it was
Yeah.
1990.
But was he trying? Well, yeah, but like, I mean, you remember the 80s.
Yeah, and I was in a
And-
ninja gang at 4.
Well, no, I mean,
The
like,
fuck yeah,
but,
man.
But New York because this takes place in New York, right?
Right.
Yep.
Yep.
New York in the 80s was a terrifying place.
That's why they're ninjas.
That was like a really terrifying place. Like, I mean, shit was going down in the 80s. Like, crime was out of control. And so I thought it was interesting that they were focused on, like, things going missing. Because I was like, oh, you know, people were, like, getting murdered left and right. And, like, there were drug
Yeah.
wars and, like, all this crazy stuff. And they're like, oh, things are getting missing. There's a woman sitting and she's like, where'd my TV go?
Okay.
It's like,
Yeah, well, it's probably for
It's
the
also
kids. They're probably
targeted
gonna have
towards
murder.
kids, yeah. So like
So-
they're not going to start off with the Ninja Turtles like finding out who murdered Mrs. Johnson.
Or a dead
and-
body.
Yeah.
You have to make the crime so that it's like it's intriguing enough to not like damage your young audience. You know?
Because they're
Yeah.
talking turtles that are human sized saying cowabunga and radical dude.
But I see, I don't buy it because we look at the films that like shaped our childhood and like the Goonies.
That did shape my childhood.
The Goonies. Like this was like these were or even like Home Alone. Like Home Alone, these were actual like criminals that were trying to kill a child. Okay, they were trying to
But they're doing
physically
it in a
kill a
wacky way.
child.
Right, and also the initial intent is like that they were just trying to rob the house. So I feel like the subtext of like, you know, them trying to like do actual physical damage to Kevin is like I think way more apparent to an adult audience than
Yeah. But
'Cause-
also the Goonies though, it was pretty apparent that they were trying to kill these kids.
Right. They had guns and whatnot.
Like
but like
death.
in Home Alone, they didn't have guns. So
I just think it's strange that like this is where we're starting the critique for this movie.
I'm just kind of I'm trying to I was having a hard time because the movie didn't tell me, like it was just like kind of like, okay, we're here, there's a really skinny guy in like a lot of lame and a helmet, and I was like, what is the end game? What are we working towards? Because none of that was clear.
Well, I think
They were
the
just in a
other
warehouse.
thing too, the other important thing to note, I think, about this movie was that, you know, because of the gang related violence, I think it was, you know, also I think attempting. I'm not saying it did this, but attempting to be a cautionary tale about you know the dangers of being lured into, you know, these type of gangs and situations, and the whole notion of like a family. Like I love Rockwell's New York accent. Hey, yo, we're a family. You know, and then Casey Jones is like, you call this a family?
Yeah.
You know, like I think it's supposed to calling out saying, hey, even though that there's like a sense of community here, just because you have that feeling doesn't mean it's healthy.
And there were way too many white kids, I felt like. on the streets of New York.
Disproportionate.
It was just
I
not.
can also say that
it
growing up
wasn't
watching this
believable.
movie, I safely did not join any gangs that became ninja cults.
That is true.
So there's
Me
that.
too.
Then again,
the
you are
message
doing
is
like
well
MMA
received.
fighting, so you know.
I learned how to fight, and not in a ninja way.
Yeah. I will say, like, I remember, around this time in my life going to Disney World and being so excited. And then when I got there, seeing people who were like, oh, look, there's Mickey and Pluto. And I'm like, that looks like a dude in a fucking carpet. Like, like, just, like, it kind of, like, just, it was like a huge crack in my perception of, kind of reality versus, like, media I was seeing. Ninja Turtles, though, it felt real to me, and that's something that I think will always stay with me because it was so magical. It was like, oh my god, like those are the turtles, and they look real, and they're with real world people. They're like nitty gritty New York. Like it was like I felt like after the movie I could see them in the streets. Like I loved that, and and the thing I always take away was how much when I was a kid I fucking loved Raphael. And I remember in the movie at the beginning when he goes, damn it! I was like, oh, he's such a badass! He said damn it!
I did like his like later in the film he did have like a sequence of like angry cartwheels and high kicks on a roof. And it
His like dance scene.
Yeah, it reminded me a lot.
Angry dancing.
Well, it reminded me a lot of Footloose, and but except there was no music.
Yeah.
And it was like a weird shot because it was far away.
There should have been music.
And he was just like fuming and doing angry cartwheels, and I thought that was pretty funny.
They made it such a real moment by not putting background music to it.
No background music, and at a far away shot. So because somebody was watching him, they were like he was being watched.
I think by Casey Jones, right? That's how he showed up at the pawn shop.
Yeah, but it just was like, man, like how as somebody on the outside just like looking at your window saying it's like, oh, okay, that guy's just doing some angry cartwheels. He's doing some fist pumping. And there's another cartwheel. All right. It was just very
just a callback to the Goonies reference too. Corey Feldman is Donatello.
Oh.
Yeah.
What?
Corey Feldman?
What?
He's
No,
Donatello.
I heard that.
Yeah.
It was more of like a what? Like I didn't know that.
That's just a fun throw-in real quick.
Did he go around saying who's our favorite turtles?
Well, I was going to get to that, but yeah, let's do it now.
Oh, Michelangelo all the way.
Yeah.
He was all about just having a good time and pizza, which is like, that speaks to my heart. Always did.
Hell yeah.
I loved him like the cartoon. The movie I was not a fan. I love the cartoon though. And I loved Michelangelo.
Great. That's probably gonna be the next cartoon series I buy on Amazon.
Yeah.
After Gargoyles, Ninja Turtles.
Yeah.
Nice. Gargoyles.
Oh yeah, gargoyles. I've always been a fan of Leonardo because he has two swords, and two swords are the coolest.
Mm-hmm.
And he's blue, so like fuck yeah.
Awesome.
just like your headphones.
Just like my headphones.
Historically, I liked Michelangelo, but I really liked Raphael in the movie because I felt like he was the only one that had like emotional complexity.
Right.
That's true.
I felt like he definitely had an arc.
Yes.
Yes.
He was the only one that had an arc.
Yeah.
The only character.
I think Leonardo kind of did because it was like he's trying to be a leader, but at the same time be like, I don't want to put too many rules on you.
Yeah.
They showed Leonardo with a decent amount of struggle. Michelangelo and Donatello are definitely background characters.
Yeah.
Yeah, just comic relief.
Yeah, with the nunchuck battle.
Mm-hmm.
What do you say? Oh, look, a fellow chucker.
Yeah.
The lingo.
So
the
ridiculous.
lingo in this movie. He was just like, oh my God, Casey Jones being like, oh, I don't like punkers. It's like nobody's ever said that to describe anybody as a punker.
Paul?
Said no one ever.
No, I when I was a kid, well, my favorite two were Raphael and Leonardo, because I just love the polar opposites, of just like, one was just like, just so emotional and like such a rebel and just trying to figure out his place in the world, and then Leonardo, I think, just kind of carrying the burden of like being the leader and trying to not only keep his clan together, but like being a family and trying to do right by Splinter. I don't know. I always liked those two because they were just so opposite, and yet I could. Those are the two I could identify with the most.
Nice.
No, that makes sense.
Yeah,
that makes sense. I don't know. Like, I was thinking about how when Raphael was called a freak, and he's like freak. It was the only time it happened, and he was really upset by it, about being called a freak, because like he is like a sentient turtle. Teenage turtle that does like has like ninja skills.
Yeah, they're like 15, I think, right?
Yeah, and so I thought like I was like it made me giggle because I just remember how the early 90s was all like being called a freak was like, oh, like how could you? But at the same time, for me, being like biracial and then like and being like just kind of the odd one out all the time, like I really could connect with someone like Michelangelo because he didn't care.
Right.
He accepted who he was and what he was and just like had fun. And he's like, you know what? He has a family. He's got his brothers, and he was cool. He was totally cool with it. And I think as like a kid, like I wanted to like just be cool. I wanted to be cool in my own skin like that, Yeah. So I thought that was a really nice, so I know it's like comic relief background character, but I think there's a lot to be said in just like seeing a character that is so like cool with himself,
Right,
especially like as a teenager. Like no teenager's cool with themselves. Michelangelo didn't care. He didn't care. He had nunchucks. He was cool. He was happy. He had pizza. He was good.
Yeah.
He was just in it for a good time. And I'm like, you know what? Yeah, life should just be a good time. So I felt that. I like that hedonistic.
They ordered like what, everything pizza with no anchovies.
Yeah,
he's very adamant about no anchovies.
Yeah. There's like a couple things I want to talk. I want to talk about like the insult terms that they used that were very like dated, like slug face and shit like that. That they really put like a lot of emphasis on things.
Yeah, totally
so
tubular.
Like, that and
radical.
How Casey Jones and April O'Neil like ended up being a thing. Like he insults her constantly. It's just like, hey, I'm trying to do nice things for you, toots. And just like, no, I can do things on my own. Like, whatever, babe. And then fucks up and then forces a massage on her shoulders or whatever. And then they're all of a sudden just like, you want to fuck? Just like, yeah, I totally want to fuck.
Dude, what about the line about like when Donatello says like, "Oh, like you're a claustrophobic," and he's like, "What? I'm not homophobic."
Yeah.
No, or he's like, I never even looked at a guy.
Yeah,
I'm just like,
but he also says, but like also, I feel like it's written like you want a fist in the mouth. Like I'm not claustrophobic. You want a dick in the mouth? I mean a fist in the mouth? I didn't say dick. You're a dick.
Yeah, like,
so Freudian.
So much homophobia in that. I think we can all agree that Casey Jones was as a human being. Just no.
Yeah.
Is he like the only field hockey player in like New York City?
Yes.
I love, but what's that one line? The class is Pain 101. Your instructor is Casey Jones.
Gross.
Yeah, no, he I think he embodies toxic masculinity to a T.
He did with Raphael though.
The farmhouse sequence, I think, just kind of proves my point.
Right. Oh no, I'm not disputing
It's
that.
kind of like the farmhouse scene in Age of Ultron.
It is a little. It reminded me a little bit about that.
But
So
like the
many
Age of
parallels.
Ultron scene is way hotter.
When
Chris
Black
Evans
Widow is
splitting
like,
wood.
I can't have kids. Who's the real monster?
No.
Captain America
real-
splitting wood with a tank top.
I think the real hot scene was
He was wearing a t-shirt because if he was wearing a tank top, I think a lot more people would be.
We're remembering it
died.
differently.
I don't know. I thought
Clearly.
I thought the scene between Tony Stark, the John Deere, tractor, and Nick Fury, that was really what sold it. But yeah, now interesting how they kind of have those moments of like
The timeout.
Yeah, the timeout and you gotta regroup and rethink. And I love like the joint meditating session.
Oh my god, that
and then
was pretty
Splinter
great.
like, my sons, you have mastered the most important lesson.
Do you think if we all sat around a bonfire and meditated for like a second, we could make the flame turn blue?
I think if
Yes.
a
If we
giant
took
fucking astral
mushrooms.
Yeah, if a giant astral rat appeared, I would shit a brick. I would shit a turtle-sized piece of shit.
I would be very happy with that. I'd be like, finally, my adventure begins.
I would just be like, no, like I would be like Chandler having a nightmare.
Called out.
It would just be like, is this the moment? Is this the moment
There were
right now?
2 tigers, guys. 2 tigers.
Oh, man.
I don't know. I'd be down for that. I think we should try that, guys.
But you know what? I love, speaking of Splinter, I loved the backstory of like, oh, my master was killed by Splinter, so I attacked him in
Shredder.
rat form and like messed up his face a little bit. That's where he wears a mask.
How
Then he got my ear
fucking
cut
huge
off.
was that scar that he left for a rat to
Rats
leave?
can fuck you up, man. Rats can fuck you up.
Especially
Like, it
Splinter's
looked
a
like he
wharf
just
rat.
jumped, got one claw, but like there were a quarter of an inch wide each, and like
Well, see,
like they're the size of what Splinter would leave as a full grown rat like person.
Well, what a lot of people don't know is that, you know, rats in New York, you know, they've, you know, have had to adapt and evolve in the streets. So a lot of times, you know, they're just pulling out fucking jackknives.
He was
I
from
mean,
Japan.
If you've
They're cat's
seen
eyes.
a rat in New York, I mean, you know that they can
Listen,
hang out on your couch, watch TV.
I'm gonna talk from experience, okay? Back in Boston, I know it's not
they're
New York.
huge.
It's like New York's cousin.
Yeah,
Living by the beach, we had a problem with wharf rats.
right.
And wharf rats were coming in to our basement and up through into our apartment building. And these things, first of all, not sneaky at all, because they were so big. It was like a dog was in the house. Like you could hear
Right.
him coming.
Oh, yeah.
my
You can hear him
God.
grab the
And,
rail
yeah.
walking up the stairs.
No, I'll
lifting
never.
their weight. Just you can hear the heavy breathing.
No. I came home from the hospital. I had appendicitis. You know, or I should say I had an appendectomy. My mobility was limited, and I remember on the couch and seeing this thing walk out with a fucking half like cigarette dangling out of its mouth and a mom tattoo. Go, okay, what's up? I'm gonna go through your trash. All right, get better, buddy.
I know rats can get big.
Or
Scary.
the scary part was like a last rat story.
I have one too.
Waking up in the middle of the night and just hearing
Oh, I hate that.
they were like going through my trash, and I remember just being like, "Oh my god,
They're in the room.
yeah!" And they're just like, "Is this all he fucking eats? Are you fucking kidding me with this?"
Being judged.
What the fuck is a bit of broccoli? What the fuck?
So my rat story, like you guys know where the bar I work at is.
Yes.
It's pretty close to the water area and whatnot, so the rats are pretty fucking big. And I think it was last year or 2 years ago. I had to throw out the trash. The lights were not working for whatever reason, and it was like during one of our big snowstorms from last year, and I had to carry several bags of trash using my phone as a light, and I lift open a lid to throw the trash away, and there's just a rat inside the bin, and it is shocked to see me, so it's just frozen, just like, and I just go, Jesus fuck, and I close the thing and I run away.
Oh my god.
And then it scurried away, and I threw the trash out and just complained to my coworkers. Fuck rats. Except for Splinter, he cool.
I don't know.
He's
I
cool.
did
I
think
still
it was
wouldn't want him to
funny.
like touch my face though.
In the beginning when April O'Neil freaked out from seeing a rat, I immediately was like, well, this can't be New York because we all like they just live. They just live
Yeah,
there.
desensitized.
But like, yeah. He also like as a rat was like conscious enough to start doing martial arts that his teacher was doing. Sorry, not martial arts, ninjutsu. Specifically ninjutsu.
Well, that's a very New York thing. I feel like they're pretty big and smart.
But didn't he come from Japan?
Oh yeah. Well,
Wouldn't he
I don't
speak
know.
Japanese? Like primarily?
I love like the way Jay's massaging his temples, like he's like on the verge of cracking a case.
Nah, I just happen to have a headache.
Oh, I'm sorry.
All good. but you're
I know,
also
it's just
correct in
like-
that.
I have to know.
I did one of those things where I accidentally napped for like 3 hours and there was too much sleep, so now I just have a headache.
Oh, the nap headaches, yeah.
Yeah. So it's all at the front, and that's why I'm not wearing my glasses. We're doing
Make
a
sure
role
you
reversal.
hydrate.
I have Tropicana
water.
pineapple mango with lime.
Ooh.
Not very good for you juice
Ooh.
because it's mostly artificial flavor.
The best kind.
Let's see. Yep. First ingredient, filtered water. Second ingredient, sugar.
Wow.
Fuck yeah.
Right out the gate. Wow.
Man. Yeah, what's interesting about this movie is just sort of like it was sort of like a marriage of like the early comic book arcs and the animated series. Like I guess a lot of the stuff, like including like the Turtles' origin, the farmhouse bit. Like apparently that was all in the actual comics. Yeah. So and I guess the most of this they filmed in North Carolina with
really?
Yeah. And then because a lot of some of the city stuff looks like it's sets.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And
Do you know if there are any like movie original characters that weren't in the comics?
Not that I'm aware of. My
What about
knowledge
the
of
trainer guy?
Casey Jones.
No, the ninja.
trainer.
Oh, I don't know.
I don't know.
He may have
probably
been
that
a-
worked for
yeah.
Shredder.
I forget his name. It's something Japanese, like
Yeah.
Yoshinaka or some shit. No, that was like the teacher's name.
Mm-hmm.
I am DB.
Can we just talk about how non-threatening Splinter was? Or
He was
Shredder.
really cute.
Shredder. I'm sorry, non-threatening
Shredder.
Shredder.
He was
looked
also
so
really
silly
cute.
in his fun, like purple pajamas.
He looked like he was gonna go to like he was gonna be like a backup dancer for anybody.
in living color.
Yeah.
He just didn't do
He'd
anything.
he would be a fly girl.
He would make a great fly girl, I think.
God.
You can do what you wanna do.
Yeah.
In living color.
Yeah, but I guess this movie was like a box office success though, because I guess it made over 135 million in North America and then over 66 million outside of the U.S.
Well, and then you shocked me because you were like, the second one was even worse, and I was like, what?
Oh, with the origin of the ooze or whatever.
Dude, I love
Well,
the second one.
Well, you see, here's the interesting thing about these movies: the first movie is the only movie to feature any of their weapons.
Right. Yeah.
What?
Yeah,
Really?
Yeah, they
Because
keep the
I
weapons.
did not realize
in the
that.
holster
because they're
for
not
all the
going to
other
want to
ones.
see Ninja Turtles fucking stabbing people with their size and their sword.
I
Oh my
would
God.
have liked to see that, but
I know.
because they didn't actually use them. I realized that. I think Michelangelo is the only one that really used his weapons. Everything else was the fight scenes were just
Well,
so atrocious.
because between him and Donatello, their weapons they can like concuss. Raphael and Leonardo, I don't know how you gently maim like without accidentally like nicking an artery or something like that.
With the blunt side.
Oh my god. Yeah. No, but did you guys ever see the third Ninja Turtles movie?
no.
That's a
It's
time
so
travel one,
bad.
right?
It is a time
That
travel
one's
one. They
so
go back to
fucking
feudal
bad.
Japan.
Oh no.
I haven't seen that in a long time.
Oh my god.
No.
Yeah.
But they bring back
Alright.
Casey Jones for that one.
Yep.
I hope
I
not.
think the dude's name is Tatsu.
But you know what I did like though about the sequels? I gotta say it. I loved the set design so much more for the the sewer lair because it was the abandoned like subway station, and so
Right.
like they were like living in like the subway cars, and they totally like tricked it out, and they had like lamps and stuff like that, and rugs they found. I mean that's a place I would actually want to live.
I like the second one. It has Vanilla Ice with his Go Ninja rap. Go Ninja, go Ninja, go.
Oh, that's
go
where that
ninja,
one's
Go
from.
Ninja, go. And they
They
also,
like bleed together for me.
the dude that they got, that's the pizza delivery guy, that's like the best friend of the Turtles. He was one of the stuntmen in the turtle suits from the first movie.
That's awesome.
So
Yeah.
I'm fully on board for that.
Does 2 have Bebop and Rocksteady?
No, it's
No, it was like their lesser known cousins. It was like a werewolf and a snapping turtle or something like that.
Okay.
yeah,
Right, it was like he was like a giant mutant dog or something.
Oh. Okay.
fuck, what's their names? Raphael, Leonardo, Splinter. Kevin Clash is Splinter too. The guy that does Elmo.
That's right. And it wasn't like Razor
Taka
and like yeah,
Razor.
And oh god, and Super Shredder, remember that?
Which was Kevin Nash, the fucking wrestler.
Oh shit, that's
All right.
awesome.
Yeah, apparently that's a thing. That's got to be like one of his first film credits. Because he was also in the Punisher movie. The first Punisher movie. He's the like Russian or German that goes to kill him that has the boiling water in his face.
I remember they actually got a second. They recasted April, and she actually looked more like a reporter.
Oh yeah, she looks really good.
Paige Turco, yeah.
Yeah, she's cute.
Like yeah. Like see her, I kind of buy.
I totally buy that.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel bad because I'm really not trying to rag on that original actress. I'm not, because she is a very beautiful woman. It's just for April O'Neil though. April O'Neil has to like talk to like, you know, teen boy like crushes. And,
yeah.
I mean, how many teen boys are you like? Oh, I love it. Like I love them. I love it when they look like a mom. I like a redhead with a perm.
Stacy's mom has got.
I didn't think she looked like a mom or anything.
I was very, very turned off by that.
Like I said, I think she's a cutie patootie. But to each their own on that.
I can't. You know what I'm trying to remember? So how in the hell did they explain Shredder coming back? He got crushed in a fucking garbage.
He did.
The ooze.
He did get crushed.
Oh, the ooze.
The ooze solves everything.
When he was being crushed, it was with the same ooze that fucked him up. So he got superpowers from it and became Super Shredder and jacked the fuck up.
I gotta say, I did like Super Shredder. I thought, like, I had the action figure. I was like, oh man, it's like elevated to boss level.
I think what like makes me love the Ninja Turtle movie so much is because I used to always play the Turtles in Time video game.
Yeah.
Like I'd always pick Leonardo or Donatello as my characters. Then like if somebody wouldn't let me play as either of them, dicks, then I'd play as Michelangelo, and Raphael was always my last.
Did anybody watch the 90s Fox Kids live action Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles show?
I do remember that. I remember. I very like peripherally.
Yeah.
Yeah, they had the female turtle, Venus.
God.
I thought that was something Robot Chicken made up as a joke.
Nope, it happened. And then they also had a crossover with Power Rangers in space.
I do remember that.
Really
that was
cool.
fucking awesome. I totally got into that.
What is... Sorry, Paul's showing me all these pictures from the time traveling. Jesus Christ.
Oh, the third movie?
Burn it.
With like the scepter.
We'll cover the third movie and second movie eventually.
April O'Neil is like actually really hot.
Well, you know what's kind of cool though about Ninja Turtles 3?
She also looks like Gina Davis, so that's probably why I'm like, I am sorry, Gina Davis in like the late 80s, early 90s. Holy shit.
Smoke show.
Bam.
Well, you know, it's.
I mean, I still think she's beautiful, but
one thing I'll say this before we go back to the main movie, Ninja Turtles 3. One thing that was interesting was that all the white men were the bad guys.
That's nice.
About time.
Girl,
but they were in like Japan, so
yeah.
You know,
right? Just the white man trying to take over, and the turtles weren't having it. And just doing what they do.
White man's always trying to take over.
Just turtling.
Yeah, I love the tagline too for the first Ninja Turtles movies. It's like lean. No, it's like, oh god, I gotta pull it. It's like lean, green, and on the screen.
Of course it is.
That was very 90s. I love it.
Oh yeah, I mean this movie is very, very 90s.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's like a time capsule almost.
Yeah, it came out in 90, then the second was 91, and then the third one was 93.
Well, that's pretty good, like, turnaround between sequels.
I'll say, too, I think that the turtle suits look better in the first one than they do in the second one.
Yeah, they get progressively cartoonier.
Yeah. I don't know. I like that they show teeth and actually bother to have lip movement and things like that.
Well, I thought the facial expressions were pretty good too.
Yeah, they did a good job. Like, it might just be a difference of like Jim Henson doing it and maybe someone else doing the second one.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, we'll cover the second and third movie a different time on the podcast too. Because I only watched the one for this one.
Yeah, I just remember watching the trilogy a lot as a kid, which is like sort of kind of sad how quickly I could pull up like, oh yeah, and there was this. I
fucking don't like the third one.
Yeah.
I never watched the third one. I had the second one on a VHS, and I used to rent the first one on from Blockbuster.
Yeah.
Rest in peace.
Yeah, R.I.P.
Soon to be seen in Captain Marvel.
Oh yeah, it is, isn't it? Good for them.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll get that money and try and compete with Netflix again.
No, it's too far gone.
God.
They fucked that one up.
Yeah. So apparently, according to Rotten Tomatoes, kind of combining like 50 reviews, it only has a 40% rating.
From the reviewers or from the fans?
From the reviewers of the time of the film's release.
Oh, really?
Interesting.
Yeah. But again, it was a huge box office success.
Yeah, so they were wrong?
So shove it, reviewers.
Yeah.
From the 90s.
Yeah, I love the website's consensus states Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is exactly as advertised. One-liners, brawls, and general silliness. Good for the young at heart, irritating for everyone else.
Oh yeah.
Hell yeah. How I like my movies.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The fight, we haven't talked about the fight scenes at all too, and like how they just burned down her apartment and she was pretty much just like not in shock about any of that at all.
Yeah. Well, I think once you hang out with giant mutant turtles, I mean, everything else is just going to be,
Also, they're trying to be secret and she's giving away pictures she's drawn of them to a little boy.
Oh, I know.
A little boy is just like, can I have that?
Well, okay. And then he immediately folds it. I'm like, what are you doing? This is going to be collector's
This is a good drawing. There were no fold marks in it too when Shredder took it out of his pocket.
Oh my God, Shredder, where have you been?
You're hiding something.
No, I'm not.
That was really good.
Thank you. My movie voice is the same as my Shredder voice.
I love it.
Now you gotta do Splinter.
No, because it's the same thing again.
I always loved
what something Splinter would say.
I made it funny?
Haha, I made it funny.
Haha, I made it funny.
That's pretty good.
Not bad.
The only descriptive I can say that I think I did differently is I used more from the chest and the bottom here, whereas Shredder is more up top. I think of voice acting seems fun, so there's a I don't know if you can hear a difference though.
So Shredder is a top, Splinter's a bottom.
Yeah.
So hot. So I'm starting that fan art right now.
Oh God, I'm sure it's a ship. Is that what the kids call it now?
Yeah. A ship to set sail. I don't want that ship. Don't talk that ship.
No.
Almost
I didn't even want Casey Jones and April together.
I don't want. I mean, Casey. Yeah, no.
Fuck Casey Jones in this movie.
It'd be great if I would like Casey Jones way more if he was in fact gay. And hence,
oh my God!
Hence the super duper macho.
I would love gay.
Gay for Raphael.
I think just gay
in general.
Yeah,
just the gayest.
Yeah.
The gay.
I support it.
Full gay.
It's listen, I love to talk about hockey, baseball, and throw pillows.
He'd basically just be like the gay guy in Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt that Titus falls for.
Yeah,
in season 2.
Oh God,
good stuff. So let me ask you guys this: what sort of impact did Ninja Turtles have on your nerddom and geekdom? Because clearly we all saw this at a very young age.
Mm-hmm.
So what sort of impacts? I know I talked about mine a little bit. So I don't know,
Well, I talked about my connection with the character Michelangelo, definitely. But I don't know. I feel like Ninja Turtles didn't affect me, I think, the way that it did you guys.
It's a boy thing.
I wouldn't say that because, like, I know, I mean, shit, like, one of my friends, like, has a Ninja Turtle tattoo, but it's, like, the original art.
Nice.
Like, where they all had the red.
Oh, that's cool.
Then, you know, she has got the original artwork, and I just think it's beautiful. And I mean, so no, I don't think it's a boy thing. I think it's just it didn't affect me like that. Because I mean, come on,
I think
I was really
targeted
into Ronin
towards
Warriors
boys in general, but I don't know.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I really like Ninja Turtles. I don't know if it's hard to say what's impacted me because like I just like all sorts of nerdy stuff in general. I really have a hard time having like a deep connection with any character that I really like or anything because I just don't think about it. I'm really here for a good time and for the ride.
Yeah.
I think because I like Ninja Turtles so much though, I watched Saturday morning cartoons for as like long as I could and would like watch all these trash Ninja Turtles series just because they were Ninja Turtles. I've faded off at this point because, like, have you seen that animation and those buck teeth that they all have? Fuck that. But, like, if it was drawn well and had, like, good writing, then I would get back on a Ninja Turtles cartoon again.
Yeah.
Video
I never
games were a lot of
saw.
fun.
I never saw the remake, but I mean, I don't know. I mean, there's definitely going to be
Neither
a lot
did
of
I.
other like, you know, the other superhero movies that we're gonna discuss on this little series we're doing. That I will definitely have, I think, more of that had more of an impact on me. I just this
Blank
was
Man.
not it.
Fuck yeah.
Blank Man is on the list, but according to the app I use to do like the drawing of the hat, next movie's Batman Forever.
Oh man!
Oh,
Oh, I'm so excited.
Charlie,
I
how
am
about you for
so
the impact
excited.
thing first before we delve
for
into
me?
that topic?
Yeah, well, I mean, let's see. Well, I think the biggest surprise for me, like growing up, is that like I never knew that. I've only ever known Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles as like a movie or animation. I never knew it was a comic book. So I feel like maybe I would have known. If I had known about it earlier, I probably would have read comics earlier. But like definitely like color coded martial artists definitely fed into like my love of Power Rangers. So I'm
Right.
like I have like a kind of like an encyclopedic knowledge of like Power Rangers up to like the year 2008. So like yeah, that definitely like helps. It helps fuel it. And like having the crossover with Power Rangers in space was like such like
Fuck yeah, it was
a
a lot of
mind blowing
fun.
thing for me. So yeah, huge impact for sure.
Much wow.
Much wow.
Fuck yeah.
So
Yeah, no, I mean, I it was interesting watching this movie again because God, I'm trying to remember the last time I saw it. I mean,
Yeah.
like, I remember watching it, because I bought one of those, like, Blu-ray packs for, like, $5 where it's, like, 3 movies on one disc.
Yep. I
You
have.
know?
in a bucket.
That's what I'm watching it on.
Yeah. And I remember just kind of watching it in the background. And it's kind of served as a nice nostalgia piece for me. But it kind of sit down and watch from, you know, I guess a sort of like pseudo analytical perspective was just really interesting. But I think this was an important step for superhero movies.
Oh yeah.
Like I think this was definitely
Well,
I think
it set it up to be fun, I think. Like, these movies
Yeah.
should be fun, enjoyable. I mean, they have the wacky catchphrases and things like that, but all those terms are outdated. And
You know what
the fight scenes were fairly well done. I mean,
And-
obviously wacky, but yeah.
Right. Well, what's interesting about the fight scenes is that you got to think about what those guys could actually see wearing
Right.
those suits. I mean, that must have been so hard to choreograph. I feel like it would be like just dancing blind.
Well, not
know,
just
yeah.
that, too. Like, the range of motion that they have in the costume as well.
That was
What?
crazy.
What?
Sorry, Jay. I'm sorry, Jay. Could you repeat that thought, please?
I said not just that, but the limited range of motion that they would have in the costumes as well. Like, if I remember
True.
right, I heard that like they basically couldn't turn their necks at all
Yeah. Plus, I can imagine too having a shell on your back. That's gonna limit a lot of like arm, shoulder,
Right. Which is
movement.
why I think that's why like all the fight scenes are them just going like up with their arms or like forward. It was very the choreography had to have been a difficulty, but they got it done, which is a neat part.
Yeah, no. What I like too is that they kind of I feel like they borrowed a lot of visual cues from the Tim Burton Batman. I think as far as like feeling like the feeling like it was real with a bunch of impossible shit happening, which I know is true of most action movies, but like anamorphic turtles, like fighting ninjas, but in a real world setting. I think it really worked on me as a kid.
They also cut corners and saved time with a lot of stuff about just like turning the lights off and then turning them back on, and everyone's defeated. And there's like, well, hopefully the next bunch will be a workout.
Yeah, and again, it's fitting because they are ninjas, and that's what ninjas would do. Turn off the lights, everyone's down, lights back on. Pizza party time.
Yeah.
Cowabunga.
Fuck yeah. That's their new catchphrase. Fuck yeah.
Team Cowabunga.
Team Cowabunga.
Oh, God. Knock it off.
So I think it seems like the consensus is an important step in superhero cinematic history, and it's a fun rewatch, I think, except probably Angela may not agree with that.
And don't tip your pizza drivers if they're more than 30 minutes late or more than 2 minutes late.
What was that line he says about like it almost sounded like a fortune cookie, like wise men say. Pizza.
Never pay for full price pizza or something like that.
Yeah. I didn't write it down. Angela, did you have any final thoughts about the Ninja Turtles?
No.
Just make it stop. Make it end.
Sorry, I dipped out. I was afraid Domino puked again. But
did she?
No, I think she was just chewing on a pen.
Oh, nice. That's a good follow-up to throw out.
Domino.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, next time on our 90s review of forgotten superhero movies, we will be tackling the Joel Schumacher cinematic classic, Batman Forever.
I fucking love this movie.
So if you listen to our podcast, if you have any thoughts about Ninja Turtles, something that we missed or didn't discuss, please share it with us, WednesdayComicPodcast@gmail.com. Of course, don't forget, drop us a line on Twitter, Facebook. We'd love to hear from you. And of course, if you have any thoughts on what we should view or review about Batman Forever, let us know. And of course, real quick, I can't believe I almost forgot to do this. Real quick, what have we been reading this week?
Me not really reading. I've been watching Black Lightning because it's Black History Month. So yeah,
nice.
Yeah, it's actually really cool. Not because it's Black History Month, but like I was just bored. But yeah, it's actually pretty cool. I think the acting is great. The pacing is great. Some moments are a little cringe, but I think that's just because like it's organic, so it's not like on purpose. But like I don't know, it's a solid series, and I'm excited to see where it goes.
Cool. Jay, how about you?
Like most people, I've been playing Kingdom Hearts 3. That game's a fucking disappointment from what I wanted. Like, it's visually very beautiful, and the fight scenes are fun enough, but they cut out so much stuff that I loved about the second game. And if you didn't play the filler shit, then like you're so lost as far as the story goes. Because it's like, oh, this person's brought back from the past so that they can fight in the future, so that this future version came back to the past so it'd be able to do boop, 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 boop. It's like, fuck off. They cut out like cinematic fight scenes where you do like the huge just hit square and then you dodge out of the way of like a thing falling down. And if you fuck up on that, then you basically lose. Like they cut out so much good stuff. It was only 35 hours of actual gameplay, or 35 hours of total time, and I'd say 20 hours of it is cutscenes, which just fucking sucks. It's a fun enough game that I would suggest getting it. Just don't pay full price. Borrow it from a friend that's already beaten it.
And is full of regret.
And like they only go with Pixar areas, where like Kingdom Hearts 2 had like, I feel like it had 10 different worlds, and you could revisit the worlds and there was more shit to do. But this one, it's like, oh, you beat the level. Never go back there again because there's no point. But outside of that, I've been watching an anime called The Shield Hero. It's about a few dudes who get brought to a like video game type medieval world, and one of them is the Shield Hero, which is like written in history as like being pretty much useless, and he gets framed and like for like rape or something like that, and the chick is trying to like they keep just trying to fuck over this dude in the royal kingdom, and he keeps just being like, nah, fuck you guys, you're pieces of shit, I'm gonna do my thing my way and get the job done. And it's very well animated, and it's getting to a point where it's being like more funny now and wacky than it is like super grimdark as far as all the shit goes. So I'm enjoying that. Well animated too. I don't know who does it.
Right on.
Cool. How about you, Angela? Anything you've been watching, reading, enjoying this week?
I did do a nice binge on Netflix yesterday, which was nice. I watched Trigger Warnings by Killer Mike's.
Hell yeah.
And it was funny because at first I was like, is he serious? Like, because, but I think I realized, I think it's satire.
What's it about?
He basically takes a problem and gives his own unique solution. And it's pretty hilarious because he was trying to get kids more into doing trade, like pursuing like a trade, because like he sits down with a bunch of kids and they're like, I want to be president, I want to be a scientist and build rockets, and he's like, no, you can't. And he's like, focus on a trade, and so that wasn't working, so he tries to make he was trying to get adults like more into learning and pursuing a trade. So he gave a bunch of adults like a test, and they failed it on like basic like home maintenance and like how to fix like a light socket and like how to wire a lamp or how to unclog a sink. Like they couldn't do it, and so he did instructions via porn. And they did 3 scenes. There was a lesbian scene, a straight scene, and a gay scene, and it was hilarious. But they all passed. Like they all passed the test after watching it. It was really funny. And then, so like he had that was a good episode. He did one where he was really upset that the Hells Angels had an online presence, and you could buy a Hells Angels t-shirt on like Amazon, and he's like, this is fucked up because they're a known like violent gang. And so he was like, oh, so capitalism works for gangs when they're white. So he got the Crips and the Bloods to do like like their own merchandise, and it was Cripa-Cola.
No.
trying to get them to do Cripa-Cola. And
That's
Blood Pop.
amazing.
The Cripa-Cola ad was hilarious.
Yeah, it was.
Amazing.
It was
Oh my
so
God.
good. But I think my favorite episode was he thought if he could get people from all walks of life to create a super group, to do like a song, so to try to unify people, then it would work. And it was the biggest hot mess I've ever seen in my life, and I loved it, and I thought it was hilarious. And at the end it was so funny. Like he had like a Jewish Renaissance like enthusiast and like a white supremacist.
She was like surprising. Like the Jewish Renaissance person seemed the most level-headed of all.
I have to watch this show.
So,
oh my
she
God.
was so level-headed, and then of course
It's ridiculous.
Mario, if you watch if you guys watch the show,
Fuck
if our
that
listeners
guy.
watch the show, you guys will know Mario. He is a recurring person on this show, and he is so unreal, but it's so funny because I feel like I know that guy. Like
I hate that guy so much.
I know, but it's like I feel like I've met him in so many like forms. Like he exists. But Mario was great, and
Him
that
in the
show.
last episode.
Oh my God, New Africa, yeah, when they try to create like a commune.
Yeah, he buys like what used to be a slave farm.
New Africa.
New Africa, and it's like, oh my God, it would like just became, but like the Jewish Renaissance enthusiast was there, and
And she's the only one that doesn't have to wear the uniform.
And some of the porn stars were there too.
Oh my God.
The porn stars.
Trigger warning's pretty great.
It's really, and one of the Crips was there, and he had a couple juggalos. It's actually like really funny.
Satanic juggalos.
Well, I thought all juggalos were like trying to be like satanic, but I don't know. But they were satanic juggalos. Yeah, but yeah, it's hilarious. But I did like the albino like black guy like who was like super like militant.
Yep.
I thought he was great. But yeah, so it's definitely a good time in terms of shows, because like right now I know everybody's kind of freaking out about the Ted Bundy tapes, and like there's like so much like true crime shit going on, and but I just thought Trigger Warnings was a really good like break from that. But in terms of what I'm reading, I am jumping into Fire and Blood, the Targaryen Histories book by George R. R. Martin. That Paul got me for Christmas, so I'm very excited on that.
Get ready for that Game of Thrones.
Oh yeah, I can't wait. I have depleted every YouTube theory video, so I need like actual content. So I'm gonna just dive into that.
Cool. Well, I've been checking out our other favorite Teenage Mutants, the X-Men and New Mutants.
What?
The
What happened?
I don't know. I couldn't tell if you're making fun of me or not. You what?
No, as in haha. Ew.
Yeah, so I just it's great because I'm currently in the 90s now with Jim Lee's art, so I feel like I'm really hitting like some good. Not that the other stuff wasn't good, but this is the X-Men stuff I wanted to read but never could because I was always missing gaps. And it's great because it's the beautiful Jim Lee art of scantily clad Rogue in the Savage Land, and it's like, it's great. I know, like, not really a good feminist statement, but
I don't see
it sure is hot.
What's wrong with saying someone's scantily clad? Someone can be attractive. Whatever.
True.
Women are allowed to be attractive.
Everyone's allowed to be attractive. Fuck yeah.
Attractive people are great.
But yeah, but it's good stuff. Like I'm really, because I've always wanted to read the 90s stuff, because that's actually what sort of got me on my X-Men crusade, was just like wanting to read the 90s X-Men, but I never knew what the hell was going on. So I was like, fine, I'll go back to 1963 and know what all of this fucking shit is. So yeah, so I'm finally at my goal. It's only been almost 2 years now. I've been reading.
Do you
all
feel like it makes
X-Men.
more sense now?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Because Chris Claremont wrote X-Men for so long, and if you're jumping in where, you know, the 90s like Chris Claremont stuff, I mean it's going off of like it's just everything that he did, and I feel like Hellfire Club makes more sense to me now. The Phoenix Saga, and it kind of gives me a newfound appreciation for the X-Men history. I think
it's wild that you just jumped in from the start and just did it.
Yeah, no, I think everybody should, especially if you get that Marvel.com Unlimited thing. It's definitely worth rereading. I think I'm actually going to tackle Spider-Man next. I think that might be.
Whoa.
Because I would love to just. Yeah.
No, it's epic.
I mean, some of the like.
You're epic, Paul.
Thank you. It's because of the glasses. That's why you're saying
is.
that. No, because I got into a very interesting Facebook debate. Which actually, let me correct that. Facebook debates never fucking interesting. Nope. It's just a black hole.
Yes.
But just sort of talking about like the, I guess sort of like the, you know, the the history of the X-Men and how just I've always said I would love to see like an original 5 X-Men movie, like Beast, Angel, Iceman, and somebody was saying that, well, no, it would be boring because it didn't work in the comics. That's why they changed the teams. But it's like, well, that was the beauty of X-Men because it was a rotating team. So if you started a movie with the original 5, doesn't mean the next movie couldn't feature new characters, which is like I feel like what the smart way to go would be anyway. And you read the early comics, some of it is really hard to get through, like not knocking Stan Lee, obviously, because he gave us all of this, but like some of the writing is very dated, but there's a lot of great ideas there and a lot of like, great characters that you can, mold and, kind of shape to fit in today's world. But yeah, get the chance. Rereading X-Men has been super fun, especially the 90s, Asian Ninja Psylocke. Who
Fuck
one thing
yeah.
one thing I learned from reading X-Men, that she's actually British. She's like a white British lady who got put into an Asian ninja's body thanks to the hand.
Oh yeah, it's a whole problematic thing for sure.
It is, because I know people are upset that they're making her white again.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, oh, you're taking away the Asian representation, even though people weren't happy about it the first time they did it. Like, it's
Yeah, there's like flame wars about it online. It's beautiful.
definitely something I'd love to talk about on an episode someday. But in the meantime, that's what I've been reading. And just to reiterate, drop us a line, WednesdayComicPodcast@gmail.com. Tell us what we missed about Ninja Turtles and what we should talk about for Batman Forever. This has been a Chrono Speakeasy production of Wednesday. Thanks for listening, and as always, enjoy your issues.